Welcome to Demon School. Iruma-kun is a goofy little show that sits in some niche corner of the anime realm. Most people wouldn't be enticed to watch it from the cover or synopsis alone because it doesn't exactly stand out. The vibe of the show from the outside is mostly dark and gloomy, and the weird and goofy designs don't exactly help in knowing what to expect from the show. In reality, however, Welcome to Demon School. Iruma-kun is a fun and wholesome anime where our main character, Suzuki Iruma, experiences being an overpowered human in hell, and it's goddamn hilarious. The dark and gloomy color palette compared to the actual vibe of the show is just a beautiful case of making it stand out even more as being itself. If there is one thing I can say for certain, it is that Welcome to Demon School. Iruma-kun might have inspirations from elsewhere in smaller concepts, but it's definitely molded them together into its very wholesome and welcoming product. The world gets even better with the fact that the show, while having some completely bizarre and terrifying things in it with the concept of the netherworld existing, manages to not take itself too seriously in the portrayal of them, and it is never afraid to have fun with literally anything that exists in the story. And that gives it the power to introduce even crazier elements into the show without any hesitation. As far as the world building in the show goes, I have to say that whilst the world building of the netherworld as a whole is still incomplete as far as it goes in the anime, the world it has managed to create is extremely comfortable and detailed, keeping in mind exactly how a netherworld ecosystem would function, and there is enough promise in the world to stay invested in it. And that's about all I could ask for. The world is complete and hardly has any inconsistencies, and left me as a watcher satisfied enough to be suspended in disbelief. The school our main character attends seems to be the most normal part of the underworld in perspective to human society, but yet it never forgets the fact that it's still a school in literal hell. An anthem for killing and eating humans, researching magic, summoning monsters, and sometimes even your own teacher. And there's even a jail in hell. I mean, seriously, who are we putting in there? The most well-behaved ones? Oh, never mind, it's just the batshit crazy ones. I love how the world it creates is simultaneously ridiculous but still realistic, that you could imagine a school like that existing in the netherworld. But let's actually talk about what Welcome to Demon School. Iruma-kun is about. Suzuki Iruma, a young boy at the age of 14, was sold to a devil by his parents. And not just any devil either, one of the strongest and scariest ones in all of hell. Yep, it is a power fantasy, and dare I say the case of Iruma, our main character in this anime, is one of the best instances of power fantasy done right. The show doesn't just throw him into hell being the most cocky, overpowered human protagonist who just takes over the netherworld, but instead it acknowledges the fact that living in hell for a human is a difficult experience and treats him with respect, and only then do his powers really even matter. By the way, have I ever said his powers are completely absurd? The ability to dodge any attack that is thrown at him essentially means that he's... Yes, I really did make that joke again. But really, his powers are completely absurd, and his potential to grow as a human in the netherworld is also extremely high. I mean, there's literally a prophecy that tells us that he's going to be the next king of the netherworld, so there isn't any surprises to anyone that the story is self-aware enough to know that Iruma will overcome basically any obstacle in his way, hence it's a power fantasy. Without throwing too much shade on power fantasy anime as a whole, I think the whole reason the concept exists in anime is because it's cool seeing cocky protagonists talk the talk and then walk the walk. But these shows also have a tendency to fall off because the show fails to become more than just a power fantasy anime. Welcome to Demon School. Iruma-kun definitely understands this, and it makes the story basically not even Iruma being that overpowered as a protagonist. Most of the arcs in the story have him working just as hard as everyone else to truly gain access to his potential. The arc structure itself isn't the most unique thing with the usual training to get rewarded, but let me state the obvious here, it just works. I mean, this is a well-known formula in shonen, the training into payoff is a well-known and understood strategy, and damn does it make Iruma look cool in the moments of payoff, man. This anime has the shonen formula down with how rewarding the payoff actually feels, and that in turn makes me even happier to sit through the training and look forward to what exactly is coming. The arcs themselves introduce new and interesting concepts, and seeing Iruma work through his issues and weakness to achieve the success that he's still kind of guaranteed to get doesn't feel like a shallow experience, because it is done with such character. Although Iruma himself isn't a unique main character archetype, he still feels tailored to the show that he's part of, and I have to say that the show does love experimenting with his character every so often, like in the Evil Cycle Iruma arc where he did become a Giga Chad, but that also somehow just ended up working and it was almost as good as the main show. Speaking of characters though, let's talk about the colorful cast of characters we have in the show. Every good anime has a good trio. Here we have our MC Iruma-kun, tsundere pink hair, and Useless. Wait, Sakura was actually two of these things, crazy. That being said though, Iruma-kun himself is a great main character, being the source of happiness and joy in the midst of any disaster going on, always the positive type willing to grow into a more capable person. Asmodeus Alice, our resident pink-haired tsundere, and Vala Clara, our resident Useless, are both a hard sell when the show starts, not only because of how they're introduced but because of how their characters are made. The show is built in a way that until you get used to them, you don't actually end up liking them. Asmodeus was easy. He's extremely capable as a person and is shown to be reliable, so his character wasn't very challenging to grow on me. His only flaw was his attachment to Iruma. I speak for myself when I say that it went from annoying to just funny extremely easily. Clara, on the other hand, was just an annoying character with hardly any redeeming qualities. She was introduced into the show as pure chaos. Even as the seasons have gone, I think her true nature is still best described as pure chaos. She still did manage to grow on me though. I don't know exactly when, but somewhere along the way she just became a lovable dork who is one of the strongest reasons that the show manages to be funny at times. This show making me change my stance on Clara was one of the biggest reasons I think the character writing in the show is so strong. It isn't even just Clara though. I feel like every character introduced into the story can be a hard sell for some kind of person, but at the end of the day, after we've gotten accustomed to them, they end up feeling like complete characters that exist in this world of anime. Special mention, of course, I think the teachers in the show are completely hard-coded. I could never come to not like one of the teachers in the show. It is quite special how good they are as characters. Besides for that, every character in the story feels like they have their deserving time in the spotlight, whether that is the good or the bad guys, and when it is time, they are fleshed out to being even better than I expected them to be. The characters and how good they feel in this show are a huge inspiration for me wanting to make this video, because dare I say, this show's character writing rivals some of the best anime out there, and I stand by those words completely. The characters in the show are completely great and have some really great foreshadowing leading up to their arcs. Quick tangent by the way, you see this man right here? He's been in the show since season 2, and none of the anime onlys, including me by the way, know who he even is. The only reason I even learnt about him is because I decided to read the comments on season 2's opening. But this is what I mean, I can see this dude hidden since season 2 and know that his reveal will just be great. His character will be great because that is just the level of effort the author is ready to put in for all the characters in the show. Let's recap here. Cool world, cool characters, cool design, and cool payoffs from the arcs. That isn't even mentioning the cool music from all the openings and endings, which also ended up growing on me eventually, and the small romance anime self-contained in the story between Iruma and student council president Azazel Ameri. Yup, the biggest scam in this anime was the fact that it was a romance anime all along. Ameri herself being the strongest example of gap moe I have seen in anime. It is just such a different pace to the normal routine of this anime, but goddamn do arcs with Ameri feel fucking great. In a way, I feel like that could be described as the charm of Welcome to Demon School Iruma-kun as a whole. The author can make the story whatever they want because they are just that good at writing the story and the characters. And as an audience member, I can have faith in them that the story will deliver in one way or another. I think it's still worth saying that this anime isn't for everyone. Hell, it isn't even for me unless I'm in the mood to consume some slow-paced, well-written, wholesome stuff. But that's what makes it so good to me as well. No matter when I want, I can come back to this when it's airing, and and watch it and get reminded of how amazing this show really is. It isn't peak fiction or the greatest show of all time, but it is a bag of wholesomeness that is always there where I want it, and for that I appreciate and love. Welcome to Demon School, Iruma-kun. The source material readers are always some of the happiest people when the show airs because it is just that goddamn good, and every new season that airs proves just why they love the show so much. Devi arigato for watching this video. I hope you guys liked it. If there's anything you think I missed out on, let me know down below in the comments. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.